Hello, welcome to the Circle of Fame. And today we have panel discussion 2, which is the secrets of exponential growth. This is such an important topic, and our world-class experts today came to share with you their vision, their expertise, and knowledge, so everyone who listening to us can be empowered and set his mind and set the big goal for big success in life to live this life with fulfillment. And today we will speak, of course, about the exponential growth of success. How important to know all these ingredients of success, because success leaves clues. And when we listen to experts, people who already are successful, and they share their best today in our panel discussion, everyone can be so much empowered and uplifted. And today, I would like that every one of the participants of our discussion will introduce themselves shortly, so you will know who you're meeting and who you will listen to today. So let's start from Dr. Annika.
Hello, I'm Dr. Annika Sorensen from Sweden. I'm a medical doctor, but today I work with business leaders and help them to be less stressed, have more fun in the work, and get better results. I think that's says it.
Thank you so much. And what is about Paulin Prifti?
My name is Paulin Prifti, and I'm based in London. I run a publishing company that helps first-time authors get published professionally, from the idea leading to during, after launch and promotion. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Great to see you here and have you participating in our panel discussion. What about Rose?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rose Covenant, somatic architect and trauma healing specialist. I'm also traveling the world, so I help people who have trauma, limiting beliefs that are coming up as they're going through their awakening, their growth, their healing journey, to help heal those deep wounds so they can have a life that they love, not one that they're supposed to love on paper, but don't actually like that much.
Thank you, Paul. Angelle?
Yes, I'm a small business growth consultant, I guess. I do business planning and, more importantly, accountability coaching for business owners who are small entrepreneurs who are stuck.
Such a great job. Daniel?
Well, I'm Daniel Kobryner, and I'm French. I live in London. So I'm a life coach and a motivational speaker. And I help busy entrepreneurs and executives who feel stuck, a bit lost, and who don't really have a purpose really to find back clarity, confidence, take their power back, and become the best version of themselves.
Thank you. Peter?
Hello, everybody. Very similar to you, Paul. I work with small business owners in a very simple way. I show them how to grow their business by deliberately not trying to sell anything. And in fact, to follow what Anita said, to have some fun, because it's too darn serious. So I love what you said, Anita. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have our amazing moderator, Neysha Arcelay, who will help us to get this panel discussion go in the best possible way. Hi, Neysha.
Hi, everyone. I am Neysha. I am a transformation advisor and coach, and I help spiritually inclined professionals to prevent, manage, and overcome burnout. So that's my expertise. And Elena, I'm very grateful for you to creating this particular opportunity. So I want you to introduce yourself as well.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Elena Apalkova, and I'm CEO and founder of the Mindset to Results, this company which I founded with the purpose to help people to raise their awareness, consciousness, and live their life with fulfillment, understand who they really are, understand their huge potential which we have in our mind, and how we can use our mind and develop high mental faculties and set really big goals and achieve those big goals and live our best life. And I help driven business owners, entrepreneurs to achieve audacious goals with my signature, the 6D method, from desire to destiny.
That is fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started because we have a full agenda ready and full of fantastic insights. So we are going to be running this as a panel discussion. And the first question that I have is, what does exponential growth mean to you? And how do you identify opportunities in your field? And I would like to start with Dr. Annika. Could you share a little bit of your insights on that question?
Yes, of course. In my business, I would say it's going from one to many. That's when you can grow, because if you are only doing one-on-ones, then you are kind of working the hours and you can't expand. But when you go to one to many, you can have more people in one group and you can teach many people at one time. And it's more efficient for you and it's more profitable for you too, of course. And then also having speaking gigs where you speak to many people and you can maybe even sell from stage, then you also can grow very fast. And also one more thing that I think is a good thing in my world is online courses where you are not there the whole time, but people do your stuff, your material, and they work with it and learn what you teach, and then you can sell it to many people, and that's exponential growth for me.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. One to many, absolutely fantastic. How about Daniel? What does exponential growth mean to you, and how do you identify opportunities for it?
Right. So in my field, in the field of life and mindset coaching, it's really it means achieving compounding results over time, and this is done by helping customers transform their mindset and habits. So it's about guiding the individuals, to make the small and intentional changes that unlock significant and ongoing improvements in their personal lives and well-beings. So I would say in terms of, identify the opportunities, first, it's really listening to their needs and really being focused on what they need. So, and I really pay attention with what they are struggling them the most. It could be, stress, lack of purpose, self-doubt. And I tailor my coaching to their needs. Then it's about creating some transformational tools. So it's really custom-made as well, frameworks and exercises that empower them to shift their perspective, build resilience, and create lasting changes. And the last point, it's really about fostering, the accountability and the growth. So I provide, my clients with a supportive environment where they can make progress, they feel safe, they can express themselves, they can reflect on their journey, and they can sustain really big growth. So, in summary, it's about getting clarity, unlocking the potential, and creating ripple effects, which are going to create really transformations with clients.
That is fantastic. Thank you for that insight. How about you, Paulin? What does exponential growth mean to you?
Exponential growth means working on two directions. One, bringing in new authors. And what I'm talking about is to start with 3 a month, then 5, then 7, and then 10. And by giving them a step-by-step process for writing, editing, and getting the book published. And then, of course, the marketing. And the other direction is book sales. So there's a good number of authors. I have them on royalty-based agreements, and by putting together a step-by-step marketing promotion plan for the long term, then those book sales are going to bring in more income. By combining both new authors, all of them need to go through a publishing mastery package, which is standard, then with the first book, and then with the second and third book, and the fourth book, and so on, there will be more income coming as a result of the sales. So it's combining these two methods. It does deliver a sustainable growth over a long period of time.
Thank you so much for that. That is a fantastic insight right there. Let's talk a little bit now about strategies for growth. The next question, I would like to start maybe with Peter. Peter, what innovative strategies have you implemented to drive exponential growth in your business and projects?
Strategies are really simple, to be quite frank with you. The marketplace I deal with are usually solopreneurs, small business owners. Maybe there's a partner, maybe there's 3 or 4 VAs with them, but it's relatively small. Their bottom line cash flow would be at a minimum around about 20,000 a month. Okay, and I find that many of these people sort of they're stuck. They know what to do, but they don't know how to. They've forgotten how to do it. They don't know how to go to the next level. So to me, the innovative strategies are keeping things really simple, Neysha. The first thing is most of these small business people either don't have enough people to talk to, so they think, oh, I've got a lead generation problem. To be quite frank, that's not the problem at all, but that's what they think. Secondly, maybe they've got plenty of people to talk to, but they're the wrong ones, right? They've picked the wrong darn niche market. Or thirdly, they've spoken to exactly the right market, but they're not getting any clients. So my innovative strategies address those 3 issues. They're simple, they're to the point, and I try to get the business owner to accept that they have a problem. If they don't accept they've got a problem, I can't help them. If they can accept they've got a problem, then I will show them step by step, as others would mention, step by step, how to go through from where they are now to where they need to be. And that includes things like niche personalization, trust-based conversations. Those 2 key issues are very important, okay? And forget the word referral, I talk about introductions. Referral programs are last century stuff like the know, like, and trust factors we used to hear about. I mean, trust is important, but the know and like business when it comes to marketing your business is rubbish. You need people to introduce you personally. Never look for a referral program. That is truly going to get you into trouble. So I try to create innovative strategies to overcome those 3 issues. Thank you.
I love that because we can help that person who doesn't recognize that needs help. So I love that. Daniel, I saw you nodding a little bit to those conversations. So I would love your insights as well. What innovative strategies have you implemented to drive exponential growth?
Well, it's different fold. I mean, in the life coaching business, but one of them is really making the best of the digital platforms we have. For instance, it's about creating engaging online courses, hosting live webinars, or for instance, sharing really high content value on social media in order to attract a broader audience. Then, very important is personalized coaching programs. It's not like one fits all. It's really, designing programs which are, custom made, and they cater for the needs of each of the clients because they have different stages in their journey. The idea is how to support them the best. Another important point is really creating as well communities. I mean, making sure that, these clients, they engage with each other, can be on platform, can be on Facebook, can be on WhatsApp, that they support each other so that really it's about learning from others. It's about getting energy. It's about being uplifted from others. Another strategy I'm using as well is really trying to get the most feedback I can, because obviously we try things, but it's not always, perhaps, the question is, does it really fit what people want? And sometimes the idea is being open and just said, okay, what would you like? How can I make this differently? How can I improve? What would you like to see? And by doing that, I mean, a lot of feedback is coming and it's helping improving the content. And the last, not least, it's really establishing collaboration, partnerships with other experts, can be in different fields. And I have to say the Circle of Fame is a wonderful example. It's really connecting with like-minded people in different fields, putting our energies together, learning from each other, supporting each other, and you know, and helping others as much as we can.
Wow,
That is
Daniel,
awesome.
your enthusiasm is infectious.
Yes, I was gonna say
Thank you.
hard
I
to
love it. I love
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
hard
you
to
know,
go against
you
that
are
because it's
infectious, so
fantastic.
you know, it's all us together.
Oh, fantastic.
How about in your case, Pauline? What innovative strategies have you implemented to drive exponential growth? And you did talk a little bit in the previous question about that,
Yeah.
but any specifics?
It's starting with a client generation system based on two methods. One is organic outreach, which I've done most of the time, and the other one is building a sales funnel that can be automated, paid advertising. So that's the first step. The second step is to create three very crucial elements: a publishing online course, which is a step-by-step process for all the authors to do on their own. And the second one is creating a community of authors to generate feedback. And the third is to make the entire process so easy and in a timely manner that once they publish the first book, they would want to publish with me the second, the third, and so on. So repeat business. And I can't emphasize enough how important that community of authors is, because when you work on one-on-one with people, you get so focused on a particular part of the book or the publishing process that you start to lose sight of impartial feedback. The more time you invest on a book, the more emotionally attached you become to it. You're not the best person to give feedback. For this purpose, you always need a community of other authors who are going through the same process, who know exactly what you, the author, is going through, but they're not as emotionally attached to the book as you are. And in this way, it creates absolutely essential feedback. And it's the first really contact of the book with the outside world. And I can't emphasize it enough how important that is. So to create a exponential growth by using these two methods and these three steps is one of the things that I've been working on for a long time. And I know I need help, but I know it's the right direction to go towards too.
Thank you for sharing that. Very, very insightful. I want to switch gears in the camp of growth. Want to switch gears a little bit. And Pauline, you did talk a little bit about this in your question, the previous question. The particular question now is, how do you identify and leverage opportunities for growth in a competitive landscape? Because what the steps that you described are exactly what you follow, but how do you apply that to this competitive landscape, which is the world of publishing?
The world of publishing, particularly in the last 15 to 20 years, since online publishing became part of everyday life, has become way too competitive. However, 95% of all the editors and publishers are there. They don't focus on details. They don't understand that the publishing process is a long process made of so many sub-processes, steps, sub-steps, stages and sub-steps, each requiring a different skill and the time frame to deliver it. So if you miss one, it's going to affect the entire process. So it's focusing on quality. It's focusing on step-by-step processes, and it's focusing on delivering a product, because that's what a book is, a product that is going to stand the test of time. By doing so, both the author is going to get value when it comes to financial, to sales, when it comes to authorship, to the standing amongst their competitors, as well as the reader getting true value. And the third person in this case is going to be the publisher, because apart from getting repeat business for new authors and from new authors, I will get sales as a result in the long term from books being sold. So it's tough out there. When I say it's tough out there, I mean many publishers and authors offer very easy solutions. Tell authors what they want to hear, because of course you will, as an author, it's your creation, your book. You want to hear good things, but this is not where the value is. This is not where the growth is. Honesty, at least in publishing, is a very, very rare thing. And that's where it comes down to. Publishing a book is not easy. Anyone who says it's easy, I mean, people make it. Publishers make it like you can publish in 3 months, you can publish in 6 months. Well, you can, but it's not publishing. It's not publishing hit publish, and this is done. It's very important to focus with absolute attention on each detail of each substage to create a book that would outlive the author. And
I appreciate that insight, Pauline, because sometimes when we want to grow, we forego of a little bit of the quality. So I love that emphasis. How about you, Paul? You help business grow. So how do you identify and leverage opportunities for growth in a competitive landscape?
Well, in opening, I'm not too fond. I'm not too fond of the question, and not the way it was written. It's just a competitive landscape. Everything I do starts with a plan. I got to have a comprehensive baseline. I like what Peter does. It's got to be simple, but it's based on goals, right? So planning is one of those things that's really simple. It's just not easy. Kind of like losing weight. You know exactly what to do. It's just not always easy. But you have to have goals. You have to know your numbers. And most people in business don't know what their numbers are. They're afraid to know what they are. So the process that I go through of uncovering the facts, which are the opposite sometimes of their feelings about what's really going on, in lifting these boulders and in figuring out what's really going on inside their world and inside their business, I've never, ever once failed to find obvious, enormous, and immediate opportunities for growth. And I'm talking personally, professionally, financially. But to me, competition is with yourself. So the idea of a competitive landscape, when we open up with that concept, it sounds to me like a preemptive excuse for failure. And it might be an evidence of some underlying mindset issues that I would probably uncover and deal with in the initial planning portion. But you're competing with yourself yesterday, and you have to have a plan and you have to be accountable.
I actually love that answer for the mindset perspective, which is key. Do you have a particular, Paul, do you have a particular case study or success story that demonstrates a successful outcome from that approach?
Yes, I do. I had a client, and I was working through a coaching company where we would rotate the coaches that would help these businesses strategically. And I came on board with this client in, say, March. Well, he'd made his annual goals for the year in November or December, and I'm going through those goals mid-year, and every year he had a goal to write a book. Paulin would probably love this guy, right? He wants to write a book. That's his goal, to write a book. It's been his goal every year for the past 3 years, and he didn't write the book. So it's July, and he said, let's go through your goals. And one of those goals was write a book. And what about that goal? He said, well, I guess it's going to be a goal for next year. And I was like, bullshit. No, we're going to do that this year. You don't have to even write the book. There's AI, there's ghostwriters. There's no excuse. There's so many people that can help you with this. You have a good story to tell. Let's get it out there and let's make it happen. And it was in that moment that he said, you're right. And he started interviewing ghostwriters. He started talking to people to help him plan. If I had known Paulin, this would have been an absolutely wonderful referral. But it wasn't published yet, but he got it written. He had a manuscript and a draft put together and to the printer and the publisher, and they had a title and a cover, and all the stuff was happening. And in the first quarter of 2024, the book came out. That made an amazing impact on his ability to promote his business, because his business was no longer this Southern California law office. It was a tax controversy business that was nationwide, and he was no longer this local small town attorney. He was this person who fixed IRS problems, who had a book full of hilarious stories that happened when he worked for the Internal Revenue Service about all these crazy things that happened. It's actually a phenomenal book. It's on the side of my bed. I recently read it. I'm in the acknowledgments because I made him do it. But set goals, but someone's got to hold you accountable to them. And that was just an instance where there's no excuses. And when I see the same goal every year, I question whether or not they're serious about their goals.
Or whether it's the right goal to begin with. I agree 100%. How about you, Peter? Can you share a specific case study of a success story?
Sure. One in particular comes to mind. They were a family-owned company. They were an eco-cleaning service. And the problem, just keep it brief, the problem is they couldn't differentiate themselves from every other cleaner around the place. So they were swamped in a marketplace. Okay, they were absolutely swamped. And even if they tried within the LinkedIn environment to try and do something there, that was a waste of time and effort anyway, right? The bottom line is they were not seen as anything different. And the key point that I talk to them about is that when people connect with you for the first time, whether you're providing life coaching like Daniel or small business consulting like Paul, or whatever, Dr. Annika, you're providing, but whatever it is, there are 3 questions in people's heads. And if those questions aren't answered, then they're not going to become a client, whether you're in the cleaning business or the coaching business or whatever. And the first question is this: do I trust you? It's really that simple, because we live in a highly skeptical, uncertain, distrusting world right now. Do I trust you? It's in their head. They'll never tell you that. But if they don't trust you, you're never going to get them as a client anyway, or a customer. The second question is this: if I trust you, right? If I trust you, Rose, do I trust you enough to tell you the truth about what my real issue is? Okay. And then you can talk about how to live the life they love, as you so beautifully said before, right? And the third question in their head is this: if I trust you enough to tell you the truth, do I trust you enough to help me fix it? Those 3 very simple questions are in every potential client's head, whether they're in the book publishing business, Paul, and whether they're in small, but it doesn't matter what it is. They're in their head, okay? And in case of my case, which was Blossom Eco Cleaners, we differentiated them in the minds of every other potential client by showing that they could do things differently. And they provided memorable experiences to their potential and existing client base. They went out of their way to do it on a personal basis. And I've got some statistics here because Elena asked me to keep one ready for you. We doubled their bottom line revenue, okay, in 18 months. Took us 18 months to get there. Their lifetime value increased by 66%. The key issue to them, which really got them going, was their retention rate of existing clients. We increased that by 44%. That was the thing that really got them going, okay? And we trained them how to listen to their clients, how to really listen to them, and then seek their help and advice, right? Don't tell them what they can do for them. Find out what they need and then give them what they want. 2 different things. 2 different things, okay? And then we show them how to partner with other local eco-type businesses that were not in competition with them, but they had the same philosophy in terms of eco-driven services. And we built a relationship. In fact, what we did, we created a leveraged collaborative with them. And I think it was you, Paul, was it you that mentioned the word community? We created a community for them. Okay, admittedly by what you've got here, Elena, this is your community, right? And within the community, people feel safe and they're happy to share like we're doing right now. And so we did this with this cleaning company and created an unexpected thing for their existing clients. They didn't realize that this cleaning company was more than a cleaning company. They were providing a service that was quite incredible. No other cleaning company did this. And so therefore, they built their business by leveraging their own passion and interest in their client base. And that's why we got these incredible results, okay?
I love those incredible results, Peter, because it not only demonstrates the flow of a structured approach, but it also demonstrates a change in the way you look at things in the day-to-day, which is absolutely key if you want to grow exponentially. You have to release of those limitations. So I want to switch gears a little bit to the mindset that is required and the habits that are required for you to maintain in order to get it done. So Rose, let's start with you. I want to hear from you. What mindsets or habits are essential for leaders and individuals to achieve exponential growth? And we have heard tidbits of it throughout the conversation, but I want your take on it.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So when we think about mindset, instead of thinking about mindset as this is the end all be all, we have to be like this guardian and policeman of all of our thoughts. I like to think about mindset as the result of everything that's happening underneath. It's a result of all of our experiences, all of our societal conditioning, all of our experiences in childhood, whatever we've learned that has given us the perspective that we have. And if we look at sort of a global level and within ourselves, there's this idea of separateness, which gives us the idea of competition, that there's not enough and that we all have to fight each other in order to get it. And then on the other side of that, there is the idea of oneness and wholeness. And that's where collaboration. Are we in survival? Are we in fear? Are we in doubt? Are we always thinking that a tiger is going to jump up, around the next tree? Or are we in a place of being open to opportunities as they come? And I think from a mindset perspective, it is super helpful to be aware of our thoughts and notice what they are, and to have that point us back to where we are internally and what our own internal growth opportunity is, so that we can really feel into creating that life we want. And at some moments, mindset is the most powerful thing. At other times, it's more of a trauma healing. At other times, it's what Daniel does around the life coaching. It's finding the support that you need to expand yourself into that next level, so that you're in the mindset of everything's working out. I'm a powerful creator, and I'm going to create finding the pathway that's right for you at that moment to be able to step into that next level of growth.
I love it, Rose. I absolutely love it how that click internally drives the future step for your continued growth. How about you, Dr. Annika? You work with stress and overwhelming individuals. How what is the mindset that you foster in your patients in order to achieve exponential growth?
I would say that mindset is everything. And people think that things that we do are things that we do, and that has nothing to do with mindset. But I would say that everything is mindset, because I decide if I want to do it, and I have to decide that I do want to do it, because if I don't want to do it, nothing is going to happen, because no one is can do anything for me.
Yes.
And also all the things that we have to do in general in life, like eat and sleep and exercise and whatever we say it's good for you, and it doesn't. Your body is not going to go out for a walk unless you have in your mindset that I'm actually going to go out and have the walk. So it's still coming from here, everything you do. And the same goes for everything that we do in business. We say that we're going to do whatever program or whatever, but it still comes from our mind. We have to think, what am I going to do? And then do it with our willpower.
I love
And
it. I love it.
and we have to be open-minded and listen to people around us to be able to get the best things out of us ourselves.
I love it. The power of will, the power of community. These are amazing insights. I want to ask our wonderful host for today, Elena. You have a company called Mindset to Results. I want you to wrap up this mindset conversation. What are mindsets or habits that are essential for leaders to achieve that exponential growth?
Thank you, Neysha. Yes, it is a very good question because we are creatures of habits and most of our
Yes.
behavior is habitual. That's why we have to understand the importance of creating new habits. And every time when we set the next goal, we have to change the habits. We have to raise that bar for next goal, which will be aligned. And I would like to address 12 habits, which I think were very important for me. First habit is to write goal, and read your goal in the morning, because we want to get aligned with our big goal. And the first day, what we do in the morning, it is how we set our state. So we know that everything what we will do during this day, our thoughts, our feelings and decisions will come from the place where we want to be, not from the place where we are now. The next habit is attitude. It is so important which attitude we have to anything, attitude to ourselves or attitude to event or attitude to the life will determine attitude of life to us. Another one is gratitude. Gratitude is also one thing which we do in the morning, and again it helps to set us at the right vibration, because when we are grateful we cannot be scared, we cannot be angry. We have gratitude. It means that we come from place of love and that high vibration which we start day every morning. Another thing is planning. Planning is essential for growth. So my habit is to write everything I want to do next day, and the main six things which is priority, to write them in the evening. So when I wake up in the morning, I already know what I have to do, what is the priority. The fourth is discipline. Discipline, yes, discipline is using your will, these high mental faculties. When you say yourself command and you do it, whatever it takes, you decided, you said, you do. Another one is decision. Making decision is essential, is just so crucial to getting results, because all our results come from decision we make. So making decision not from your current results, but from the place where you want to be, making decision from the goal achieved place when you already are there. So you will start thinking, feeling and acting as the person who already achieved, and this is only the way how you will get your results. Another one is, of course, be great follower. If you are leader, you want to be first leader for yourself, you know how to lead yourself, and of course you have to have role models to follow, and it is related to constant development and study yourself, study other leaders, study the trends and what you can do the best today. Another one, number 8, is to leave everyone with the impression of increase, because everyone is the most important person. So if we want to be leaders, we have leave the person with the impression of increase. It means to make him feel better after he met us than he was before. 9.1 is read the book. Read the book every day. Doesn't matter if it is 1 page or 2 page, even 1 paragraph, but make this habit to read the book and get to new ideas and contemplate how you can use this idea to achieving your goal. The next one that is embrace the challenge. It is so crucial. Embrace the challenge. If you are a leader, you constantly will go out of your comfort zone. Face the challenges and not just face them and go through. Embrace them and see how this challenge help you to learn new lessons, how this challenge helps you to grow. Because if you want to achieve your big goal, the way there is to grow is to go outside of comfort zone and face the challenges, face the failure. Don't be afraid of failure, because failure makes you strong and it makes you win. And the last one is read your goal, write your goal before you go to bed every evening.
Thank you for sharing all of those, Elena. They are incredibly helpful. I hope the listeners have been taking notes because they are important. I want to transition a little bit because everyone has talked about their wonderful strategies. Everyone has spoken about the importance of mindset and about will, getting it done, and goals that need to get done if you set them up. I want to transition to the opposite, to the barriers and to the things that hold us back so that we can learn to overcome it. So the first question, Dr. Annika, is for you. What are the common barriers to achieving exponential growth, and how can we overcome those?
Like I said before, everything is mindset. So it, of
Yes.
course, stems from the mindset. And if you see it as a business person, it's like there is so much going on around you. You can't focus. You see all those shiny objects, and you do all the things that you don't plan to do to begin with. And then you worry about your income, and you take clients that actually those are not the ones you want, but you take them because you feel secure, and then you are stuck in where you are to begin with. You can't expand your business if you keep on taking those clients that you don't even like them or like working with them, and it's still one-on-one. So I mean, it's you're still in treading the wheel, and you need to find ways to stay focused, and you need to care for your energy by taking good care of yourself, and also get accountability partners. You can have a coach, a mentor, friends, mastermind groups, and you can use this like the Pomodoro time management things to help your brain stay focused, because you know that you're gonna know when the break is coming. You don't have to think about that all the time. So there are tons of things you can do to stay there, but you have to do them. Mindset.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. How about you, Rose? What are the common barriers to achieving exponential growth, and how can they be overcome?
Yeah, in my experience personally and with clients, it's fear. That's ultimately fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success. What if I'm so big and then I get attacked? And for me, mindset will not get you all the way there, because willpower is something that we can use, but we also use it up.
Yeah.
So in my experience, the way to unlock that next level is really to look at what are those deeper fears and work in a deep way. Because I think in our current healing environment, sometimes we're encouraged to like, just positive think, just change your thoughts, just put a happy face sticker over it. And if you do have experiences of lack of trauma, maybe your childhood wasn't so great, maybe there was real perceived scarcity, just trying to change your thoughts is not going to heal what's there. It's going to keep popping up in other ways.
Yep.
So to look at what's coming up in mindset, what that's pointing you back towards, and doing whatever deeper work, however you choose to do that, in order to not just change the thought, but change the root, the emotional root of why is that thought coming up in the first place.
No problem. That's absolutely fantastic and a great insight of the those barriers which are within us. How about you, Elena? Um, what are in your practice? What are the most common barriers to achieving exponential growth?
The biggest barriers are inside of us. Although people tend to think that, oh, this is something that steps me, yes, something from outside. But when we understand that there is the law of cause and effect, and we are the cause of everything that happens to us, and according to the law of vibration, the law of attraction, we attract things depending on in which frequency we resonate. Yes, there's like different channels. If we are in listening a radio, and if we are tuned to AM frequency, we will not hear things which are at FM. So we have to switch and flip to different frequency to get different programs. And exactly it happens in our life. We have to see the results, and if we see there are any barriers for our growth, we should look inside first. We have to understand that all the barriers are in our paradigms, because we literally are programmed to get certain results, because literally we are programmed and conditioned to think this certain way, feel this certain way, act this certain way. And there is like a loop which we just live in automatically, as Napoleon Hill calls it a hypnotic state. We are all in hypnotic state until we wake up. We just continue to do that. So this is the barrier, when that you are, if you are in that hypnotic state, wake up, raise your confidence, learn about yourself, understand who you are, so huge potential in you, and how to bring the best to the surface. And how to do that is through having big goal, because the barrier is not having big goal. If people think that they are stuck, it means that they didn't define the big goal. What is really that big goal for them that will give them energy to push themselves, to grow, to overcome challenges, to do whatever it takes to get that goal. And of course, the barrier is conditioning to be so much attached to 3D reality, to factors on situations which we have. And if we can just switch to be detached from current results and understand that current results and things which we had in the past, yes, related. And if we start today thinking different, taking different actions, we will have our future. So the barrier here is to make decision based from what we did in the past or what is it now, and let these fears and doubts dictate us what we're capable to do. We have to be bold. We have to step into unknown, just decide what we really want, that we are ready to take actions to do whatever it takes, and do only one step based on what we have now, what we can do. Take one step, and then the second step will be revealed.
I love that, Elena. Thank you so much for sharing. We have talked so much about will, about that empowerment to get things, and that's actually release of fear and vouching for our expertise. I want to talk about whenever those we are going through our goals, there is resistance coming because we're human, that's normal. So, Paul, how do you address that resistance to change when you are helping either an organization or an individual to scale up an idea or a particular initiative?
Well, I usually correctly assume that it's going to happen, right? Because everybody, and I stole this line, but from one of my clients actually, everyone wants things to get better. Everyone. No one wants anything to change. No one. Well, those two things aren't true. You can't, it's going to stay the same. So I bring that fact up early in the process, and I get them to acknowledge it and internalize it and realize that that's going to be a problem if they let it be. And so I find that it kind of trickles down. Then it becomes more of a management issue, right? When you have a team, there are people, I mean, in the corporate setting, it's a carrot or a stick. Some people respond very well to incentives or opportunities, and other people respond very well to fear of loss. And it's important to be conscious of that, because when you're leading with people, there's all kinds of different people. And if they're all the same, your organization is not going to be very dynamic, and it's not going to grow. So if you want to scale, you want to grow, or you want to expand, you have to make sure that everyone initially realizes they have this resistance to change, and let them understand that it's not really logical. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't mesh with their goal for things to get better and bigger. So once you preempt that, it's a lot easier to deal with.
I love that perspective. Um, so I want to ask the same questions to Peter. Peter, how do you address resistance to change when scaling up an organization or maybe an idea for a person?
I think Paul just answered for me. I actually totally agree 100% with what you just said, Paul. To me, the key issue is for people to accept the fact that change is a challenge for all of us. It's all of it, okay? We're all in the same boat. So let's be honest about it. And to me, the way to deal with change is to have empathy and show people that you truly are trying to understand them. People love to be understood. If they feel that you are trying to understand them, you can help them through this emotional challenge called change. Okay? And you can show them how you are prepared to go the extra step that Paul was alluding to go with them step by step, and go slowly through a process to get them to achieve what they truly want. But initially, they're scared about it. Initially, they're uncertain about it. Initially, they feel uncomfortable about it. But if you're there and they can believe in you, and they can see that you truly are trying to understand, then most of those fears will dissipate. They will dissipate, and you can simply become your best, imperfect, transparent, vulnerable self, so they can resonate with you. Because if they can resonate with you, they can believe in you. If they can believe in you, you can help them make the change they need.
I love that perspective.
Yeah, and let's now ask Neysha to share her opinion about this question.
So, when it's very interesting. I worked 20 years in Fortune companies, and it is very interesting that leaders of an organization always say, well, it has to get done, let's push this change, and it will never result in the benefits that we had calculated in the business case. So it requires not only setting a big goal, like we have established here very clearly for individuals in organizations, it also requires very meticulous strategic planning about how that change is going to happen. The dissemination of information, the open hours for questions and people that are unsure about that change. And most importantly, in an organization, how is that change going to impact them positively and potentially negatively? What's in it for them? When we are working with individuals, it's very clear. You want to achieve this, and in order to achieve this, we have to put together this plan. In an organization, we need to feed that information to our teams, our employees. How is it that this change is going to benefit them, benefit the organization, and by benefit the organization, it will also benefit them. So a lot of communication, a lot of open hours for managing that resistance, and a lot of continuous feeding of all the benefits that's going to happen as an organization. So thank you for asking the question, Elena. I appreciate it. So we are going to go through a round of one steps, and I would like to involve everyone here if they are open. I want to start bringing all of the knowledge that we have shared today into very succinctly. What is one practical step individuals or organizations can take today to kickstart their exponential growth? And I would like to start with Dr. Annika.
Well, I always, I'm very fond of pen and paper. And I'm fond of, because if you write things down, you can see it and it's still there, and it doesn't pop out of your head because thoughts pop in and out. And if you have it on computer, you can only have one side up at the same time. So what I always help people to do is to write lists on paper, what needs to be done, then organize it in the order that you see it's most practical or needed to be done, or whatever, depends on the subject. And then take the first one, the first thing that you need to do, and put it into small steps, very small chunks. You don't need to do much each day, so to speak. Depends on if it's an organization or a personal person. And then you start taking one step at a time. You don't have to see, you know where you're heading, but you don't have to see every little step that's coming. You can just take one at a time. But have it on paper so that you can remember what you actually said and promised.
I love it. How about you, Elena? What is one practical step individuals or organizations can take to kickstart their exponential growth?
I think that one step would be to write down during the week all negative thoughts or limiting beliefs that come in the mind. And then you will see that when you analyze that, there are few the same thoughts or ideas which can block your success, which can stop you and dispower you. And create autoresponder. Write the opposite one, which will empower you, and write it down, keep it ready. Every time when you understand and pick up that idea that it is negative, automatically replace it with the empowering thought. And you will, if you create this habit, you will see that those negative thoughts will be weakened, and the empowering thoughts will be stronger. And this is when you change your thoughts, you will change your feelings. And when you change your feelings, you will step into better decisions and better actions, which will propel you to your success.
I love that advice. How about you, Rose? One practical step.
Yeah, to come back to the present, the easiest way to do that is through reconnecting to our breath. So we all breathe all the time, but most of us are doing it pretty wrong, especially women. We're taught to suck in our gut and kind of breathe just here. And it actually creates a physiologic response that tells us there's a bear who's about to eat us. So my best advice is to take your hands, put them on your low belly, let out the gut, and start breathing from your root. And that will reset your nervous system to be more in the parasympathetic, which is more in the rest and digest, more in the rest and connect, and to just keep coming back to the present and to trust yourself more and more from that space.
Amazing.
I love it. Thank you so much, Rose. How about you, Paul? What is one practical step individuals or organizations can take to kickstart their exponential growth?
Well, I love that Rose said breathe like Paul, is basically what I heard. A man bear that's not a woman. It's exactly how I breathe all the time. I what Dr. Annika said really resonated. I think at the risk of using a sports analogy, set some goals, the little bitty steps, but layups, easy, because success becomes a habit. And if you're a dopamine addict like I am, you want to cross things off your to-do list. You want to accomplish your goals. So when you have these written down small little steps that are leading you toward a big goal, you start to get in the habit of crossing things off your to-do list and successfully completing tasks. And that if those tasks are goals, you are programming your mind with a new habit, and that habit is to successfully complete things. And if you have big goals already, these little goals are programming your mind to succeed, and you're just going to do better with that. So the small goals, the small easy goals, write them down, check them off, and keep doing them.
I love that as well. I'm getting a kick of everyone providing their one step. How about you, Pauline? What is one practical step that you would recommend individuals to kickstart their exponential growth?
I'd go back to what Paul said earlier. The only person you're competing against is yourself. So it's having the ability to investigate yourself, to see your strengths and weaknesses, to see what those weaknesses really are, and to try to turn them into strengths. It's not easy. You need help for this. So you need to ask for help, ask a mentor, a coach to help you in that one, because that's what stands in your way. And being able to understand your strengths and weaknesses is one of the best ways to move on, to move forward.
I love it. Daniel, your turn. One practical step for individuals to take that kickstart jump to their exponential growth.
Well, similar to what just Pauline said, but a lot of you as well, is really encourage people to be their full authentic selves, to really, accept themselves the way they are, live their passions, fully enjoy what they do, live in the present moment, and Elena mentioned it before, practicing gratitude. Gratitude for what we have and what we are, and really enjoying every moment of life.
I love that. I absolutely love that. How about you, Peter? One step to kickstart your exponential growth.
We've all alluded to this, Neysha, and that is once you get people to actually admit and own that they have an issue, a challenge, then everyone's heard of the word ROI, right? Return on investment. But the key issue is COI. And that's the message you've got to get to people. Cost of inaction. If you do not take action, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't matter about your mindset. The bottom line is you've got to get off your butt and do something. That's the key issue to me. And the only way to make that happen from a practical perspective is to make sure whatever actions you're talking about, and Elena was talking about goals in the evening, etc., put them on your calendar. If they ain't on your calendar, they're not going to get done.
That is fantastic.
Great. What is about you, Neysha? What is your one big step?
I think my big step combines a little bit of everything that has been said before. We are used to going in the hamster wheel. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to take care of myself, take care of others, take care of work. I recommend people to create space in their calendar to reconnect with themselves. Without reconnecting with yourself, it's going to be impossible because you're always going to be meeting someone else's expectation of success. So that reconnection space is imperative.
Yes, amazing. We have so many experts and everyone shared. So we have so many golden nuggets in this panel discussion that everyone who listening can get so much value.
Awesome. I am going to have one last question for some of the folks in this panel, and that is, what is your number one piece of advice for sustaining growth long term? Dania, I would love to start with you.
Well, what comes to mind right away is always reconnecting with the why. Why do we do things? Why is it important? And yes, issues can happen in life, but when, for instance, for me, when it's about helping people, and I know it can be tough, but if I can help one person changing one small area in their lives, this brings joy. And, after this conversation, it's like, wow. So it's really about that. Let's do things with passions because we really want, to empower people.
I love it. Thank you so very much. How about you, Paul? You deal with helping businesses growth. How can they make that growth long term?
Well, it starts, like I mentioned before, it starts with having awareness and knowing. You need to know your numbers, but you also need to know or have a way to quantify different parts of quality of life. How much time do you spend with your job or your business? How much time do you spend with your spouse or your girlfriend, or hopefully not at the same time? But what do you do? It has to be, you have to know your numbers because you have to be able to measure something, because you can't grow anything if you can't measure it. So if you want to sustainably grow, you have to know what the reality is now. And when you're talking about time frames, I think if you're trying to measure your growth year over year, that's too long of a time frame. I think if you're trying to measure yourself month over month, that's too short of a time frame, because we tend to have, no matter how great of a person we are, we crap the bed once a month every year. We also have another month every year where everything lines up and everything we touch turns to gold. Neither of those months are good months to make drastic changes. But if you see those kind of trends last for a quarter, you know you have a bigger problem, and you want to be measuring all these things. So if you're growing a little bit every quarter, even if it's microscopic, as long as you didn't shrink, you will see sustainable wins year after year after year. And that to me is kind of a secret that really falls on knowing what your situation is and knowing what those numbers are.
Awesome. How about you, Rose? One step for sustainable growth.
For me, sustainability is around cultivating our presence, because if we're not present in our lives, then it doesn't really matter what's happening externally. So for me, the biggest opportunity for us is to keep coming back. And from that place of presence, we'll be able to see what's in our highest growth. Maybe sometimes the focus is on external business, sometimes on relationships, sometimes on family, sometimes on different things. So being able to be present and flexible and adjusting ourselves to where we want to grow.
Thank you so very much for that. Peter, how about you? What is your number one piece of advice for sustaining growth over the long term?
You enter every consultation you have with a potential client as a conversation, not as a sales call. It's a conversation, okay? No expectations, no presumptions, and more important than anything else, no hidden agendas.
Wow, I couldn't agree anymore. Dr. Annika, how about you? One piece of advice for sustaining long-term growth.
I'll come back to my writing things down, and I see that making those small steps and writing them down in what you could call a diary. I mean, I'm not talking about writing long stories each day, but maybe the numbers that Paul talked about, all those little things. And if you do that on a constant basis, more or less every day, then you will be able to go back and see, what have I done? How much have I grown? Where did it go wrong? And so it's some kind of, because you can't remember it in your head, you have to put it down, and don't complicate it. A small diary with short notes every day.
Thank you so much for that. And our wonderful host today, Elena, what is one piece of advice to sustain long-term growth?
My one piece of advice will be embrace the challenges and failure, because
Mm,
every challenge has also positive in it. According to the law of the opposite, there is the equivalent amount of positive if every negative. So if you go through challenges, and leaders and growth is always will be accompanied with the challenges. So understand that you can focus on positive, what it can give you, how you can grow from it, what you can learn, and never shrink and expand and grow and reach your biggest dreams.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
And I also want to ask you, Neysha, what is your one advice?
My one piece of advice is implement better habits. Habits that energize you, habits that help you raise your energetic vibration, and habits that actually inspire you to get even better and better. It's very interesting. We have talked a little bit about fitness earlier. Someone mentioned that when you are going to the gym, suddenly you kind of repel those foods that do not allow you, and it's automatic. You're not even thinking about it. The same happens when you have better habits. When you have better habits, you do no longer want to do things that bring you down. You want to keep going. So, positive habits, and you'll be set for the long run. I just want to thank the wonderful panelists and the wonderful insights that we have had today. We have talked about growth, about set frameworks in order to sustain that change. We talk about keeping it simple, leveraging the one-to-many through the many digital platforms, creating community. We talk about not forgetting about the quality, which is important when you are growing. And the easiest thing that actually falls sometimes through the cracks. So sustaining that quality in order to build trust, we talk about that. We talk about mindset and about the particular practices that will help you set that growth and keep it for the long run. I hope everyone has had as much fun as I had moderating this discussion, and that you have gotten a lot of insights that are going to propel your growth to the next level. Elena, I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you, Neysha, so much for being amazing moderator, and I think everyone will join me in this appreciation. Yes, we did amazing episode. I truly enjoyed every second and all what you shared. And thank you so much for being amazing, so empowering leaders, thought leaders, and experts, which we are so happy to have in our circle of fame. And I'm sure that people who listen to you, yes, to these episodes, they can learn so much. And looking forward to see you again in our further episodes. And yes, and now before we wrap this episode up, I would like you to share very quickly, maybe 1 or 2 minutes quickly, what is your takeaway of this panel discussion? What is your feedback? It would be great to just go through this very small, short feedback from you. Yes, Peter.
I think the key, apart from Paul's very important data, if you don't have the data, you're going to be guessing. If you're guessing, you're going to be in trouble. I agree with you, Paul. But the key issue to me is to be present with people, to be absolutely present with them, not just listen, because most people listen to simply ask another question, but to be fully present with them and to have them feel that you are there with them. That to me is the most powerful thing of all.
Thank you, Peter. Who is the next? Who want to share? Dr. Annika?
I would say the same as Peter. I think also that being present and hearing what they say, and actually don't be prejudiced about what they are saying, but listen what they want to tell you and work from there. That's when you're going to help people in the best way.
Thank you. Good. We see even we are aligned. We pick up the same ideas. Great. Daniel?
Well, I have to say, I've got exactly the same point. But you see, what happens is what I noticed is in our world, although we are all so connected, there's social media, there's everything, but people haven't felt so lonely as they do now. Because social networks, very often it's fake, people try to pretend to be something they are not. So what they really want is to have the feeling to be listened to be understood, and without really generally with a will to genuinely understand them without having a fear to be judged, to be criticized, or to be given unsolicited advice. So when we give this open space to people, and when we are given this space, this is like, wow, we can really be ourselves, we can. And this is when, Peter was talking about trust, and so important. How do you build trust? Because trust you don't get. Trust is built because people see that, yeah, you are really interested in them, and without expecting anything. You're curious about them. And when people see that it's really about this, it's genuine, that you really want to help and you want to understand it. It's not about us, putting us forward. Actually, we should put us on the side, and really we are fully present with our clients and, at all levels here. This is when it's like, wow, right. I can talk to a human being, and this is afterwards. And obviously we have to walk the talk as well. We promise something, we deliver. And then, life is easy. It should be very easy, like business as well. It's not complicated, provided the communication reaches a real deep level.
Thank you, Daniel. What about Paul? What is your take?
I really appreciate the diversity of thought, and the way we're approaching things is so different. And it's almost like you see this pendulum where we're talking about self-care, and we're talking about personal awareness, and then it kind of comes back to getting things done and being efficient and effective and in a business sense. And then it comes back to, well, you need to be understanding of others, you need to be directing, you need to be managing. It's the flow going back and forth is probably what I appreciate the most. I learn a lot from groups, especially groups like this. This is great. There's a lot of reminders, and there's a lot of opportunities to be reminded and remind others.
Thank you for sharing. What's about Rose?
Yeah, I appreciate the presence. For me, I'd appreciate more unscripted conversation moving forward. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I think we scratched a lot of surfaces, but it'd be interesting to get deeper with people and their personal experience.
Thank you. And Neysha?
For me, I am in agreement with Paul. I think it's amazing to hear the different perspectives from everyone's different take on the overall, personal growth theme, but different avenues. For if I was a listener, I would be very blown away by the many things that I can do to attack my biggest challenge in front of me. So I think the value is palpable. The other perspective is the ability to network with each other right here. So it is absolutely fantastic to get this opportunity that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Thank you, Neysha. And one more question again, very quickly. We would like to have your feedback about this panel discussion. What you would say for people who have value, who have knowledge, who have expertise, and want really to share it with the world and not here yet? What you would say them, why it would be great to be here?
I can start very similar to what I just said. the ability to have the exposure and have everyone contributing to sharing the content and elevating your presence in order, like Dr. Annika said, to be one to many. Sometimes we are so engaged in our lane that it is very difficult to think about that expansion of the message. So that is a fantastic value. It's not only you having exposure participating, but having your message being amplified.
Thank you, Neysha. Peter, what about you? Your first time today participating in our panel discussion. What is your experience? Would like to hear from you.
I'm a lifelong learner, so I really love today because we all were prepared to share from the bottom of our heart what we really thought. And therefore, it was an atmosphere and a community where there was trust, okay? And almost instant trust. So that's a credit to you, Elena, and to you, Neysha. Well done for creating this environment where people are prepared to share like this. Because to me, trust is everything, not just in business, in life. That's key to me. And if there's no trust, this wouldn't work. So I would be more than happy to promote this opportunity to actually to come and join with you to my network if they are people who are really sincere about wanting to grow what they have right now in a way that they feel comfortable in doing, but more importantly, in a way that they're prepared to be a giver rather than a taker. If they give first, they'll get all they want back.
Thank you so much. And what is about Rose? You also first time today at our event. What is your feedback?
Yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity to hear from different people with different perspectives. And I think for anyone listening, just being curious about what particularly resonates for you and knowing wherever you are, we all have the tools and ability to create a better, happier, more fulfilled life. And everyone deserves that. So yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity to share.
You, Daniel, what is your experience today? Give us your feedback, please. Daniel, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Okay, we see Daniel have some challenges. Dr. Annika, I would like to hear your feedback from today.
Yeah, I think discussions like this, you see that the questions can be seen from different angles, so you get answers that are sometimes a little bit different, and you learn that there are different perspectives to anything, and I love to learn more, and that helps me grow. And if I grow, then I can be better for the people around me that I help. So it's a win-win.
Thank you. And Paul?
Well, for selfish reasons, I learn from everyone I interact with, and people that are interested in a group like this are exactly the kind of people I want to learn from. I've been accused of doing social media wrong. Everybody goes to social media, I think, in an effort to educate everyone else. No one's going there to actually learn anything. No one changes their mind because of interactions there. They're just preaching or they're just teaching. And I'm always listening, and I feel like I'm the only one. But in a group like this, it feels like everybody's listening. It feels like everybody's teaching and learning. And that's what I'm grateful for.
Thank you so much. And we have Daniel who is jumping like in the last second. Let's see if he can manage it before we wrap it up. Yes, so thank you.
But
Yes, Daniel. Oh, you are feedback.
yeah, so
So share please your feedback from today episode.
thank you. And so, sorry, I had a technical issue, but really what I want to share is that, I mean, it's so beautiful, being surrounded by very different people from very different backgrounds, but all of them having, the willingness to make an impact, to make changes, to make beautiful changes on the world, things which are above themselves. And this energy is absolutely wonderful. So yes, anybody who is listening to that and who wants to bring other skills, please join this beautiful community, and you will be able to impact the world.
Yes, thank you so much, Daniel, and everyone who participated today. It was my pleasure to host and have this wonderful moderator, Neysha Arcelay, today, who helped me. And I'm looking forward to see you in our future panel discussions.
Bye.